Oh right, you clicked on it anyway. Why the 43rd most interesting video? Well, it's not like that's based on any kind of data-driven analysis. But then all of those YouTube titles that say the most, the best, the weirdest something in world history, exclamation mark, double exclamation mark, they aren't data-driven either. They're just AI-driven titles when you ask for something that will get attention for your video. That's why they're everywhere. So I suppose the 43rd most interesting is just my little joke, my little protest, if you will. At least the title came out of my own head. And here we are with unhinged geopolitics, economic meltdown, climate change, the implosion of the global rules-based order, and societal collapse. But you're here, clicking on a video that clearly told you it was not worth clicking on. But sure, watch on. I'm not going to stop you. I made a video a while back, it's also not worth clicking on, where I made the point that AI images are a dead end, because they can only synthesize what exists. You can prompt for an image of a dog smoking a pipe in the style of Picasso, but first Picasso needed to have existed. And that the feedstock for AI images will increasingly include AI images as these proliferate, and that image generation is therefore a dead end, circling the AI drain hole. Oh, the sweet naivety of 2023 me, when I thought the main threat to art was an AI image. And this is an art channel, so it seemed relevant. Anyway, that's not the threat. The threat is homogenization. The blending of our individual voices, rich in colour, variety and nuance, into gormless, pre-packaged, ultra-processed slop. So here's an art analogy. Take all of those colours on your palette and mix them together. Keep mixing. You'll end up with a slightly green-tinged mid-tone grey. Technically, it's a perfectly blended result of all those beautiful colours on your palette. But the result has taken all of the life out, all of the interest out. If you've never blended colours, maybe you've decorated a house. The analogy for you would be, let's make everything beige. The rich tapestry of human experience, differing viewpoints, unexpected insights, genuine human connection, is simply blended down. All of the rough edges knocked off, all of the colour of human diversity toned down and homogenised until there is no life left. Just the appearance of life, more and more cleverly done. Spoken to us by a generic-looking person with a beautiful speaking voice that never needs to draw breath. There are times when a homogenised view of something is exactly what you need. What is the best way to repair my outside stairs? It is a question where you do want the combined wisdom of many voices. You're not looking for fresh insights into life, you just want to know how would most people who have bothered to write it down decided to tackle this task. And there are lots of parts of life where that's all you need. An AI-generated answer saves you a lot of research and even pain. And don't get me wrong, I love that. I used to be an IT exec. I'm well aware of the power of information technology to give wings to the pursuit of knowledge. But communication, deeper human-to-human connection, goes far beyond homogenising our views down. And it happens now for art critique too. There's some great art channels here on YouTube. And there's channels that rip off content. You know who you are. But the increasing trend is for channels that have their turn of phrase too perfectly calibrated. They remix genuine insights into slop. Like I said, this is an art channel. I look at artwork and give you what it does for me. I don't use AI to generate any of my scripts. Here's why. If you want to know about, say, Picasso's Old Guitarist, a video I did recently, You could ask ChatGPT or Grok or some other AI large language model, and you would get a pretty good response. You would get history, backstory, placement within artistic movements, and the combined wisdom of lots of art critics. What's not to like? Well, here's something you won't get: an original, insightful, personal reaction of a human being. You will instead get the blended version. I worked with a guy 10 to 15 years ago who was writing a book, The Foolishness of Crowds, or something like that, because he was annoyed at the then popular idea of the wisdom of crowds, the idea that collectively we often turn out pretty good understanding of many things. But he was annoyed because sometimes, in some subjects, the blended wisdom of a number of streams of human understanding can just be plain wrong. Facts aren't established by the number of people who believe them. It's a reasonable place to start, but it might be wrong. Facts aren't democratic. In the area of art, where there is in one sense no wrong answers, this is problematic. Not in the area of facts about art, which generally coalesce towards truth, but in the area of connection. How did the artwork speak to you? How did it hit you in the guts? Or called forth some half-forgotten memory? Or made you think in a slightly different way? The personal connection is kind of the purpose of art. Yes, art can sway public opinion, and this is sometimes the exact intention. Look at Picasso's Guernica. But great art affects us all individually. What did the artwork mean for you is not just a question I ask, hoping to get engagement to satisfy the algorithm. It's a genuine question. This is what the artwork did for me, is kind of what my channel is all about. And it is the nature of AI that my human-created scripts will themselves eventually be fed into the large language model. At some point, some direct personal insight that I have spent a video trying to get across will mean a slightly different word is chosen when someone asks an AI model, "Tell me about Picasso's old guitarist." So I don't use AI at all when preparing a script. Sometimes I will need to know a factual matter. For example, what were the years that defined Picasso's blue period? And, you'll know this, when you put a query into a search engine, often you'll get an AI summary that directly answers your question. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what the artwork means to me as another human being. Is there still a place for that? I hope so. As I said at the start, there are far bigger things to worry about than YouTube decline. So treat this as a metaphor. You might think I'm talking about YouTube decline, but that's just a proxy. Lean into the nuances here. Let your brain make its own connections. YouTube, in its heyday, was about individuals putting their ideas, their memories, their stories up. It was kind of daggy, rough around the edges, unpolished. Then came the area of higher production budgets when TV-style documentaries came along. Some of these were, and are, great. To be able to tap into high-quality docos about some science subject was wonderful. Or you could follow a subject deep into the depths, or learn maths, or look at butterfly wings. Then came the period of the contrarians. People who would make videos with provocative titles like, "Everything you know about X is wrong." They would share their fringe views. Fringe views can be fun and interesting for some, but the end result, at least for factual matters, is that they feed the dumbing down of knowledge. Knowledge which is increasingly being mediated by social media, platforms like YouTube, and partisan organisations which themselves have presence on these platforms. Then comes along those completely unmoored from reality, the flat earthers. No, that's not being pejorative, the literal flat earthers. Then the flat earther debunker, doing a sterling job, but also bringing attention to flat earthers, because the algorithm, the dreaded algorithm, cares not about truth or lie, but only engagement. And knowledge becomes up for grabs, the plaything of those who can make the most engaging video and drive the algorithm their way. And finally, well, finally so far, the AI YouTube channels. Homogenized repackaging of other people's work, but so beautifully done. Perfectly calibrated to speak to our biases and make us watch more and more, with perfect speaking voices and engaging three-step arguments. If you're like me, you will click on something and get a minute or two in and think, is this real? And by real, I mean the expression of a human being. For art, that matters, at least to me. I go to the video description on those kind of videos, which sometimes fesses up that the content is AI assisted. A euphemism if ever I heard one. But they don't always tell you. Luckily though, I'm not the only one who gets this feeling, and a quick check of the comments section will usually out the channel. I then go back to the thumbnail and tell YouTube, don't recommend this channel, because I don't want it. On matters of geopolitics, art or human connection, I want real insight from real people. Now to those watching this in your history class in 2056, in laughably low-res 4K two-dimensional video, yes, this is how people used to communicate with each other. I suppose it seems quaint to you now. Wait till you study how we used to do it before the internet. Well, this has been Art Meets Jeff. Jeff is me. I'm a real person. See you next time when I will be back talking about an artwork from a real artist. And thanks for watching to the end. It helps my placement in the algorithm.